very day I was making a speech as vice president celebrating the 75th anniversary of the Fair Labor Standards Act, the Supreme Court ruled that the heart of the Voting Rights Act was no longer needed. No longer needed? Despite the fact the federal court had just declared a Texas voter ID law so harsh that it would, quote, impose strict, unforgiving burdens on the poor. No longer needed, despite the fact that at least 90 similar bills were being considered in 33 states, like the one in North Carolina, which imposed a new photo ID requirement, shortened early voting, eliminated same-day registration for early voting. In Alabama, a photo ID bill that passed in 2011 but was never implemented because of the Voting Rights Act and now is the law. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Justice Ginsburg, got it right when she said, throwing out the existing process when it's working and continues to work is, quote, like throwing away an umbrella in a rainstorm because you're not getting wet. And now we're in a hailstorm. New attempts by states and localities to limit ballot access without the full protection of the law. Folks, it's time we take stock. In 1967, at the Southern Leadership Conference in Atlanta, Dr. King posed the question, the same question we should be asking ourselves now. Where do we go from here? He answered his own question. He said, we first must honestly recognize where we are. Well, Rev, and a lot of you know better than I, but let me tell you where I think we are today. I think we're on the brink of bringing 11 million people out of the shadows onto a path to citizenship, making us not only a more humane country, but more economically successful country. I think we're in the process of guaranteeing that no one who works 40 hours a week will have to continue to live in poverty. We're going to raise that minimum wage. I think we're in the final stages of rectifying the injustice of income equality between women and men. Not only is it unjust for women to make 70 cents in the dollar compared to a man, it's stupid economically. It's against our economic interest. And it's way past time that we stop arguing about whether every American has the right to adequate, affordable health care. Thanks to Barack Obama, that fight is over, and we are not going back, period. So, folks, I'm confident to my core that with all these fights, as in the past, we shall overcome. But let me remind you all, it all rests ultimately on the ballot box. So keep the faith. Or as my grandma would say, no, Joey, go spread the faith. It's time to spread it. May God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you, Rev.